What is good, guys? It's Ronald Bang, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com. Got Chris B capping with me and Joey. We have a pretty big slate today. Well, how many games? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 games. Is that right? 9 games today. Um, I'll be honest, man. I only looked at the 3 games that I talked about on triple double. Other than that, nothing. I have not done much research on the other games at all, so I'll be sort of riding with you guys here as far as what you guys seen so far as like trends and things like that, because I'm pretty sure you guys did more research than I have so far, other than the 3 games that I talked about on triple double. Chris, what have you? How was yesterday? How'd you do in the NBA yesterday?
Yesterday was atrocious. RC, it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I took. I was on Philly first half minus the 5.5. We see Philly not show up, have their worst home game of the season, I think, and then also was on Lakers first half. We see the Mavs come out and just kind of dominate that matchup. When I saw the lineups with Juan Toscano Anderson in, I knew I was in trouble. And then I was also on Thomas Bryant double double. Dude doesn't play fourth quarter, either overtime, and finishes with 9 rebounds, of course. So
Yeah.
0-3 day for me, RC. Worst day I've had in a really, really long time, looking to bounce back, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we bounce back today. It was weird because I sent to the group chat. I sent my all my plays that I liked, and then I ended up forgetting to post one on Sports Memo. So I went 0-2 on Sports Memo, but I actually had an even day because I took the Thunder, ATS, and the team total over. So that was, man, that was my fault on my part to my customers, and that shouldn't happen. But hopefully I don't do that again in the near future. Joey, how did you do yesterday?
It was good. Chris summed up the Thomas Bryant thing. I was with everybody on that little squad ride with that bet. But I took the Heat minus 3.5. Didn't start out so great. Did end up cashing on a pretty good run with the Bucks games right now. I'm a Bucks fan. I know I got a good feel when to back them, when to fade them. So
Yeah,
that was
that's a
pretty
good
good
thing
fun.
with being a fan, being a fan and knowing your team like the back of your hand. You know when to bet them and not bet them. We got a couple guys in the group chat that are like that who really focus in on their their favorite team, know them like the back of the hand. We always ask them questions and stuff like that, and that's why the beat writers, Chris, you put me on this, but the specific beat writers for each team, they focus on their team so much that they know like when players are going to be out, even when they're not already listed out, or when they turn up and when they don't. So I mean, following beat writers and things like that, that is something that I added to my capping belt this season, and thanks to you on that one. With that said, let's get into the next game, into the games here. First one up, let's look at the Pelicans Pistons. Like I said, I did not look at pretty much a majority of these games today, so this is gonna first be the first time that I look at some of these stuff. But Pistons Pelicans first thing that I think off the top of my head is Pistons at home being over, and then also New Orleans on the road don't play good defense. So those are the 2 things that I know of so far without even looking at anything. Chris, let's go to you on this one. What have you seen so far on this one?
RC, you're exactly right, man. I think, like you said, two teams that go over in their respective situations. We got the Pelicans at on the road, like you said, 15-5 to the over. They've gone over in 4 of their last 5 games, and also 8 of their last 9 games on the road, just in general. Right? I'm pretty sure you bring that up. Yeah, you see that right there in front of you.
Yeah.
So team that goes over, you look at those totals, is about 236 points, 235 points in that spot. Also, this team does not really their offense isn't as bad as it feels like it should be, RC, when they don't have Zion, right? No
Uh-huh.
Zion, no Brandon Ingram, and they still manage to score points. Another reason why I kind of like CJ McCollum a lot in this spot, and that's one of the plays that I put in as well. But that's the Pelican side of things. Like I said, 8 overs in their last 9 games. But then when you look at the Pistons side of it, RC, same thing. You kind of just mentioned it. When they're at home, they're 14-6 to the over. That's 70%. And more recently, they're also, same way. 2 of their last 3, 5 of their last 7, and it looks like 9 of their last 12 have all gone over as well. Specific when you break it down, specific amongst conference RC, it's the same thing, right? Pistons are going over. When you're looking at non-conference games, they're going over at a high total. When you're looking at non-conference games, they're going over as well. But the interesting thing, RC, is that I think the Pistons go over against the West a little bit more than they do in conference. And then also that the Pelicans go over more against the Eastern Conference as well, right? So when on the road, away favorite, away dog on the road, they typically go over in that spot. So, I like the over. I see it opened when I talked about this one on my morning show. It was at 232. Then it's steamed up a little bit to 234, but I think that they potentially get to that as well, the 234. But I played the 232 officially.
232. Oh, so it's gone up from open.
It's gone up from 232 to 234. That's what I saw that last.
234. Is it Pelicans? Gotcha. 232.5 to 234. Then we're seeing 234.5 in some places, so it continues to go up. Is there any other key players missing from the Detroit side that might be like, well, if they're out, then I don't want to take this over, or pretty much everybody's in for the most part? I haven't seen the injury for him.
Right. So Durant got ruled out, RC, which probably impacts their defense more than it impacts their offense, right? He's another big body that's down there for them. Detroit right now is struggling because they don't have a lot of interior presence, right? We know that Nerlens Noel had to play a bunch of minutes in the last game because Isaiah Stewart was ruled out. They're already missing Marvin Bagley III, and that was Bogdanovic's first game back. But Bogdanovich is in for this game. So I think Detroit will be able to kind of keep it going. I think they give up a lot of points. And we saw this team; they just put up 118 points against the 135 points. I'm sorry, they gave up 118, but scored 135 points. So this isn't a team that is necessarily going to back down from competition. They just don't play great defense. We know that they're 28th, I think 29th defensively. They're the second worst home defense behind only the San Antonio Spurs. So. They're gonna give it up for sure. I see.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of the stuff that you're mentioning. A lot of it is pointing towards the over. I see Rangoon say Pelicans team total over. I mean that makes a lot of sense, right?
I think it's 119.5. I couldn't talk you off of that.
All right, so a few things here. I'm just gonna go backwards. Oh, actually, before I go into it, Joey, did you have anything on this game?
I don't officially have anything on it, but to back what Chris was looking at, I believe I heard Ski on his show today, if I heard it correctly, since November of 2019, Pistons with these high totals like this, I believe it was 22-14 to the over, something like that. So I don't have it word for word. I heard Ski mention it. Ski was also looking at the over, so I could only look that way with you guys.
All right, so sorry, a few things that I'm looking at here. Pistons off of a win, right? 1-10 straight up, 4-7 ATS, 6-5 to the over. For the most part, you're seeing, especially when you see these non-covers, the opponents are going over their team total. For the most part, what is this? Well, actually, not even that great, but it's still profitable. If we look at average points, 120.7. You said it's 119.5.
I think it was 119.5 when I checked earlier. I see it might have ticked up because when I locked in the over for the full game, I think the total was 232. So it might have went up a point for both of them. Let me check real quick. 120.5 now. I see. So you shop around, you might be able to still get a 119. It's probably gonna be juice. I see minus 104 on the 120.5.
So I looked at it a different level here, off of a win, and now at home 0-2 straight up, 0-2 ATS. 1-1 to the over, but this total here was a bit higher. If I remember correctly, I think this one was moved up from the open total. This one's a while ago, but if I remember correctly, I think it moved up. It might have been like in the middle, where it opened up at like 234 or something, and then you would have middled it if you took the under in the later number. But for the most part, you see they're allowing 122 per game here in this spot. If we go backwards, home with a total of 230 or greater, look at that combined score there, over 240, no OTs either. Would you go on a team total or just take the full game in general? Because everything to me is just saying full game for the most part. Home against non-conference, you mentioned that one, 243 almost. If we go to the Pelicans side, if I remember, just on the road, here full game, we want to utilize how they don't play defense on the road. I feel like so that would mean to me it would be the full game versus the team total, right? Let's look at that again. So if we go Pelicans on the road, Pelicans at home. Yeah, see, they average about the same amount, 117-ish, but they're allowing way less at home than on the road. I think we utilize that and look towards the over on the full game instead. Makes sense to me.
We like to bet on teams in the current form too. You look at the Pistons' last 7 games, they've cleared this number. And you look at the way the Pelicans have been playing the last 3 games, they've also cleared it. They're not too worried about defense. It's just been running and gunning. So the only way I could look is the over. Can't be scared of the high number or anything.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. Because if we look, all right, so the Pelicans, as far as covering on the road, they haven't been in good form either. So you're right. I think we stay away from the spread and just focus on the total. I would lean towards the over in this one, full game. You already took it, Chris? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I took it at 232.
Oh, you bum. It's at 234 now, right? 234 over. Okay. Well, I would only look towards the over in this one. Hopefully, if it's going to 234 and a half, then I feel like it's probably going to continue to go up. I know KS doesn't offer 1H data, but is there a way to query games where less than 50% of the full game total, less than 50% of the full game total was scored in the first 2 quarters? Are you saying like they went under by a huge margin in the first half? Gotcha. I bet you there's a way to do it. I think Give Me the Dog might have halftime lines. I'm not 100% sure. But I feel like there should be a way to query it on Give Me the Dog. If I'm not mistaken. Someone if Austin was here, he would tell me. But he can't make it today. Artucci, let me get back to you on that. I know we have a DM thread, so maybe I'll wait. Do we? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll figure it out, dude. I'll try to figure it out. All right. Well, let's get to the next one here. Let's go Spurs Warriors. I know Joey's wearing the Spurs jersey, so he must have something on this game. It might be the Warriors or something. I don't know. Let's get it. What do you got on this game, Joey?
Yeah, I've been looking at this game for a little bit. We know it's in the special stadium. It's gonna be a record-breaking game. And if you remember last time we talked about these Spurs, I follow them pretty closely. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it's just the respect that I have for Popovich. I just like to see what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But the way I'm looking at this game, we got the Warriors laying 8.5. But we got Warriors on the road this season. They're sitting at 4-15. And they've actually only won 3 out of their 16 games on the road, or 3-16 on the road. I'm sorry. And then you look over at the other side with San Antonio, 12-9 against the spread as a home team. But looking at the same angle from the way that we talked about the Spurs and the Grizzlies, I was saying that the Spurs seem to play Memphis pretty well. They do the same thing versus Golden State. And so to specifically look at the games where Spurs were the home team, we have a score of 100-94. Golden State won, but the Spurs covered. Then you go back to February 1st, 124-120. The Warriors won, but the Spurs covered. And then on February 8th, 100-105, the Spurs actually won outright. Only one of their last 4 games at home did the Spurs not cover. And then you actually put this on your timeline. So for anyone that's not familiar, Curry was interviewed after the game, and he had a quote that still stuck out to me where he said, after 4 weeks, it's kind of hit or miss on how much rust you have and how quickly you can get up to the speed of the game. So I'm looking at this as Warriors are not in good form on the road. and Curry's not in his normal form yet. He got it going a little bit in the second half, but I have to attack him. I think this game is going to mean a lot more to the Spurs than the Warriors, despite how many people are coming to see Steph. I like Spurs plus 8.5 here. Sorry for the long
No, that's
explanation of it,
perfect. No. The more detail, the better, right? Because that's what we're talking about here is really working with everybody, kind of like giving our angles the way that we look at specific games here. One thing, so I already told you I haven't seen much of these games or like capped any of these games other than the 3 on Sportsmemo, the Sportsmemo show. But so you talked about the quote that I put on the timeline with Curry and stuff, right? And the rust going on. What do you think about this though? Because the quote right after Curry was Clay saying that they were overconfident, basically, right? They said that they didn't show up, right? They didn't have a lot of motivation because Curry and Wiggins were back. Now that he said that, obviously it's in their mind that everybody else has to step up, right? Wouldn't that make sense here? But I mean, with that said, there's still a lot going on here as far as like ATS records, right? Because if we're looking at Warriors on the road, you mentioned that, but even specifically as favorites, 2-6 straight up, 1-7 ATS, and you're looking at some of these teams here. I mean, look at the Magic here; they lost by 1. I mean, some of these teams, I feel like they should have at least won, but not covered. But for the most part, they're actually just losing these games outright, which is crazy.
So what you're saying, RC, is that you're putting your money on the money line?
No, I was actually thinking more towards the over, right? For me, more towards the over. You have motivation on the Spurs side, but you know they can't play defense and stop these Warriors team. So the only way to win is to outscore them at this point. And then we know on the Warriors side, they're coming off of a loss that they felt like they should have won. They knew they were overconfident against that squad. They might show up here and they're going to play offense. They're going to be more efficient offensively, in my opinion. So why not look at the over? I mean, 8.5 is a lot. I feel like the Spurs should be able to cover it. I'm not saying they're not, because the trends are saying that they should. 1-7 ATS there, 6-1-1 to the over. We look at the average combined score. That's over 240. That's about 245. What is the number right now?
It's about 245. I see. That's what I was about to say.
Oh, damn, that's pretty close. Okay.
It's 243.5. One of the highest totals we've seen so far this year. So I think the books are, like you said, I think the books know how bad the Warriors are on defense on the road specifically, which is why we see such an inflated number at 243.5.
Gotcha. And then if we look at, there was something else that I was looking at. 21 Spurs.
DeRossi threw a couple. He's got a couple in the chat.
Thanks for looking at that. I haven't been able to look at it. All right, so let's put up DeRossi's trends here. Warriors greater than 238. Since 2019. Sorry, 2020.
We were just bashing the Spurs, saying that their defense won't be able to stop the Warriors. But you look at those scores that you had up from those last Warriors games. Who are they stopping?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was saying look towards the over. So they're not covering these high totals. Is basically what he's saying. And then he sent another one. Warriors. Did he send 2? Oh, Spurs.
Just 2, yeah.
Warriors and Spurs on the road when the Warriors on the road. Pistons said Ski. I said Pistons. Ski said Pistons over again. Absolutely, Ski. We just talked about that one. If you joined late, my brother got it at 232.
Since when? Warriors old team Spurs. So if we look at that, unders. Oh, so he's saying under. Is that what he's saying? I don't know. I actually don't know what he's saying, but it looks like a lot of current unders.
I can't even gonna lie. The conspiracy theorist in me, I could only play an under with how much steam that this line has already. But I won't get there. I can't justify it, but don't be surprised if it stays under.
Shit. Piston team total.
They haven't cleared this number in their last 6 meetings.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, 6 out of 7 meetings. They haven't covered it. One of them they did. The most recent one, they covered it. They didn't. No, they didn't. Sorry.
Joey, just to piggyback on that just a tad bit, I think RC made great points, as far as like supporting the over. But I kind of feel like, we were, I know a lot of people were heavily invested in the Warriors the other night when they played against the Phoenix Suns, and we talked about the rust factor, with Steph, and I think a lot of people chalked it up to that. But also taking into consideration, it's a lot of moving parts with that Golden State Warriors team, right? It's not just Steph coming back. It's also Iguodala, trying to figure out his minutes and rotation. We saw some funky rotations with Steve Kerr. It's also Wiggins, right? Wiggins only been back for like 2 or 3 games. Then you got Jordan Poole going back to the bench, trying to get back to his normal role. And those things can kind of shake up things, right? Not to say that they can't get over this total, but I think I would want to, see it a few games before I just say, Golden State's going to go ahead and score 125 points.
Chris, I'm so glad that you said that. I said it to Ski shortly before this. Specifically on the nationally televised games, it almost feels like Kerr feels obligated to just throw everybody out there, whether to get them some TV time or if he's trying to figure out his lineups. But especially on these nationally televised games, he had Lamb, Green, and Looney out there last game.
Hey.
Like,
yeah, that's funny. I remember someone saying like, "Who the hell is that dude?" When they were talking about Lamb, nobody knew who he was for the longest time, and he was playing like 20 plus minutes per game or something like that. It was kind of crazy. All right, so looking at this one here, Spurs with a high total in conference games when they're a dog. They're actually going over their team total for the most part here. They've covered, was this 5 of the last 7? But they're also allowing a lot of points. This one was 241. That went over. Damn, that went to like 260, dude.
Honestly, I think when I look at this game, I think one of the sneaky ways to play this game is looking at the San Antonio Spurs team total.
That's what I was looking at right here.
That's what I got written down in my notes. RC is the San Antonio. So RC, I don't know if you got EV Analytics pulled up or not, but if you do, go look at the Spurs first quarter totals. Last 10 games. This team is specifically, this would be more of a home game for them than a away game, even though, it's not going to be played in their original range. Yeah, Spurs first quarter totals.
First quarter total.
Yeah.
And we're looking at Spurs?
Yeah, let's look at the last 10 real quick, RC, because I do think it's important that they have Youcapper in there because he helps rebound the ball, so much for them. And he was missing for a while with that Achilles injury, but he's back. He's been back for about 10 games now. So, look at that, RC. Like, they're 8-2 to the over in the first quarter. We know that the Golden State Warriors aren't going to play much defense.
Well, both of them are there. Golden State is right there. Spurs are right there.
Right. Golden State has been at home specifically since before Christmas, though, right? Like 7 games, in a row at home. San Antonio's been kind of going all over the place. I would look at that was one thing that I looked at, RC. I think that the books are just undervaluing the San Antonio Spurs because they don't anticipate them to be able to score a lot of points. And they continue to, I think teams are overlooking them as well. And that's why they're able to, continue to score the ball, which is one of the reasons why I'm on Trey Jones. I got the write-up. I posted it in the chalkboard link, RC. He's been absolutely, balling since Devin Vassell went down. But also, RC, I want you to look at one more thing real quick. I want you to go back to Killer Sports and look at the Spurs as a home dog. Because we could say this game's home. So let's just say it's a home game for them.
Uh-huh.
Spurs is a home dog since December the 15th, RC. It's going to bring up 5 games.
Oh, December the 15th?
Since December the 15th. Because they have been extremely competitive, and they've actually been playing against some really good opponents as well.
First quarter over?
Yeah, first quarter over.
What is the total?
I think you can get it at, I looked it up. I think it's 29.5.
Oh, you're talking about team total?
Team total. Yeah, team total. We know that the Golden State Warriors going to play fast, right? That should create a lot more opportunities. I think pace is pace is also included in the totals. Don't you feel like that, RC?
Yeah.
With the number being so inflated?
Yeah, for sure.
29.5 minus 128 right now, RC.
29.5. All right, so you got the home dogs current form over 31.4 points per game. What's actually the whole first quarter? What's the full first quarter total?
62.5. So they're expecting Golden State to score 32.5 in the first quarter, I see. I think that might be an under.
Yeah, 62.5, best line everywhere.
Yeah, 33 points is a lot for the first quarter. I don't think I've ever seen it listed. Not that teams that can't get there, but that's a lot. First road game in seven games, and they expect you to score 33 in the first quarter.
You see that first half team total?
I might have to sprinkle.
What did you say? Look at the what?
Golly. I was just saying the first half team total is outrageous too, 125.5.
The full game first half?
Yeah, it's the full thing. I see.
Yeah.
All right. So Warriors. Well, that was the one that he mentioned. Okay. Road favorite, 29.5. Look at their. All right. So Warriors as road favorites. They're covering that first quarter. They're averaging 34.4, allowing 29.6.
That's
a lot of
that Spurs total.
It still goes, yeah.
A lot. We also got to take into consideration. RC, that was all while Steph was being Superman, right? We don't know if Steph able to put him on his back like that, because Steph was averaging like 40 or in road games because Clay wasn't showing up. Remember?
Yeah. All right. So what would you guys say would be the damn? Hey, look at that. All right. Well, hey, you know what we did that one game, Joey? The Bucks game against, I think it was against the Hawks.
Atlanta.
We looked at the game flow and we're like, all right, Bucks first quarter, then take the Hawks the rest of the way. This almost looks like the same thing.
The exact same thing. After the first quarter, take more.
After the first quarter, take the Spurs live, right? The Hawks.
Yeah.
I remember because the Hawks live was like double digits after they were down by like whatever points. That might be the way to go too. Another way to go, I guess.
Anthony brings up a good point in the chat that Ravino actually mentioned too. It's a new stadium. For the people interested in the total, sorry, it's a new stadium, so the line of view is a lot different.
Yeah,
perception could be thrown off, shot making, all that.
Yeah.
But sorry, I just want to bring that up because you said you
no. That's a good point. That's a good point. Shout out to Anthony for bringing that up. It is true. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I'll have no problem if I'm a double dip on the Spurs. I got no problem with it. I'm comfortable with the 8.5.
Yeah, see. So Rangoon was with us then. Yeah. I remember it was double digits. I'm limited on my live, so I couldn't put a lot on it, but I remember that we won that one. Okay. I think that might be the way that I go. Because we're obviously gonna get a better number live, right? Well, I mean, not obviously, but I mean, we would hope to.
Assume, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think that might be the way that I go. All right, so that's enough on this game. So, Chris, what are you gonna do on this game?
I'm gonna take Trey Jones. RC. I posted it.
All right, yeah. Talk about that real quick.
Jokic is out.
Oh yeah, I figured he was gonna be out.
I think we all picked the Clippers already, anyways. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I see. So real quick, Trey Jones, man. So I talked about it a tad bit already, but Devin Vassell he's missed the last 5 games for the San Antonio Spurs, and Trey's been the guy that stepped up big time for them against some pretty good defenses as well. They played Memphis back-to-back games, played in Boston. I played Boston at home, and then they got the Knicks as well, and Detroit was also sprinkled in there as well. So one bad team, but 4 pretty good defenses. Trey's averaging 19 points and 4.5 assists RC over his last 5 games, so he's clearing the 21.5 points plus assists pretty easily, going over averaging 24.5. He's also, the thing that kind of jumped out to me, RC, is he's actually leading the team in not just points scored, but also shot attempts, shots made, and assists over the last 5 games. So he's really stepped up and played big for them. I like his points and assists over 21.5. I do think that, the Golden State Warriors defense is we know what it is, right? They've given up some pretty big performances to point guards specifically as of late. And they're giving up the 7th most points to point guards and the 5th most assists to the position as well. we get a total that's really, really high. I think Trey Jones has a big impact on this game. So I locked in his 21.5 points plus assists and dropped that in the chalkboard as well.
All right. Nice. Okay, Joey. Joey, what are you gonna do in this game?
Spurs plus 8.5 in my pocket. A little sprinkle on the money line again, and then I'll be looking for that flow again after the first quarter. Since it's
I think that might be the way that I go. I wanted to get there with over, but you guys are talking me away from it, which is good. You're right. We want to limit this now. About how many games we want to play. All right. Well, that's the way that I'm going. If the Warriors are, what's the first quarter line for the Warriors?
Let me check.
2.5, I think I see is what I saw that.
Is it? Yeah. If Warriors cover that first quarter, I'm taking the Spurs live. That's for sure. Okay, that's my play on that one. All right. Well, let's get to another game here. What's one game that you guys want to talk about here, or the chat? What game do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, let's let the chat pick.
Yeah, see if they.
Yeah, make sure you guys drop your plays and stuff too, man. We love seeing them because then it helps us kind of guide the conversation that we have here.
I want to see my guy in the chat who told me that Drew Holiday didn't have it anymore.
Do you remember? You probably took a screenshot, didn't you?
Nah.
All right, let's go. All right, so there's 2 for Bulls and OKC. That's actually the one that I wanted to see too, because we know Bulls don't show up in non-conference games, and then the Thunder, as dogs, you typically want to take them. So let's look at that one. Did you guys have any looks on this one?
Yep, Thunder plus the 4.5 RC. Wish I could have got it at 5. I didn't play it yet, but it's really close to being in my pocket. I can break it down, but we can go through it live too.
All right, so let's go with the Bulls first here. All right, so we got Bulls. Of course, this is when it goes slow. All right, just Bulls and see. All right, well, talk about it while it loads, Chris. If you have any looks on it already.
Yeah, for sure. So Bulls are coming off the loss to the Washington Wizards the other day. Kyle Kuzma hit the game winner, fadeaway 3-pointer, right corner, splash, right. And then on the opposite side, you get this OKC team that upset the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday on a plus 10, which I think you had in your pocket, RC. So shout out to you. You talked about non-conference games, RC. You also talk about the Bulls just being a favorite, not a spot you really want to take them in. We cashed last week with the Bulls when they were in Boston, on a plus 8.5, I think it was. And then we also cashed with them. I can't remember. We cashed with them another time on your show. I think it was 2 weeks ago as well. So what I looked at, RC, was the Bulls also already lost to Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City as well. That game went to overtime. So the Bulls, they're 1-2, revenging same season losses when they're actually a favorite in the second game, RC. They're also just not a team that you can trust as a home favorite. In their most recent cover, it was against the Pistons. Right, you don't put a lot of stock into beating the Pistons, and before that, they had failed to cover 3 games in a row when they were a home favorite. Before that, their next to last cover was actually against a Dallas Mavericks team that was depleted on the second night of a back-to-back when Luka and the boys didn't play in that one. Mm-hmm. So 2-4 they are, with 4 straight non-covers, also traveling from away to home. RC is what I looked at as well. When they're home favorite in the next game. So that was a few of the angles that I had of fading the Bulls. And then you look at the Thunder, this team is 3-0 when they're facing a team that they've already beat this year against the spread. Mm-hmm. And they're a dog in the second game as well. So if they've beaten you already and then they're a dog in the second game, they're 3-0 in that spot. They continue to roll as away dogs where they're 12-5 on the season, 71%. And they've covered 3 of their last 4 with the outright win to the Sixers that I mentioned already. And then also I looked at the rest disadvantage because the Thunder did play last night. So it'll be the second night of a back-to-back and the third and fourth for them. This team is 7-5 against the spread with the rest disadvantage, covering 5 of their last 6. And they're also 6-3 against the spread as an away dog versus the East specifically. If you take away the Charlotte game, that was a really close line. Their other 2 non-covers came to both the Bucks and the Cavs, which I think the Bulls aren't on their tier at all, either one of those teams. So If I had to play the game, it would definitely be the Thunder plus 4.5. It was what I would put in my pocket, but I didn't play it yet. Wish I could have got the 5.
And I just want to add on to what you're saying, Chris. Especially, have you seen the point margins of Thunder and Bulls games? Just recent history. I'll read some off for you guys. I'll say it from the perspective of the Thunder. 4-point win, 5-point loss, 1-point loss. There is a 21-point loss in there at 1, but 2-point win, 2-point win, 3-point win. They play this team really, really well.
Yeah, it looks like it. Let's look at why they lost that one by 21. Dort was out. Giddy's out. They were Moses
Brown and Malado, man. That's why he lost.
Roby's gone. Man, all these fools is gone.
That was the tank on the court.
Oh wait, no, that was 2020. Okay, so that's why Giddy was not there. All right.
But regardless, they were.
Yeah, no, I got you. Makes sense. They play them tight. All right, so let's go. Oops.
Rangoon, Billy Donovan used to coach OKC. Might be why games are competitive and close.
That's a good point. I saw that too, Joy. Yeah, I saw that too. That's a really, really good point. Back in the day when Westbrook and Harden was on the team, and Ibaka, KD.
Go Dogs. So we backed. Man, can we back them twice in a row though, Chris? Like this?
I think so, RC. Like I said, I looked at the rest disadvantage. Like go through and look at the rest disadvantage. That was one thing that kind of helped me to feel like if I had to play a side in this one, it would be the Thunder, because they're not a poor team. Look at those covers recently, RC, with the rest disadvantage. That's like 5 of the last 6. I just gave you that stat as well.
Yeah. Let's say rest equals 0.
I could only look at the Thunder with this one because if you remember what we talked about last show, talked about Levine points, ended up taking them, and he cashed it. What happened at the end? The Bulls were down by 3. Levine had 38, and he went and attacked the paint.
shot a pull-up jump shot.
Bro, he didn't care about the game. He wanted the 40 points.
You see how Vucevic was looking at him like, dude, what are we doing?
He did not care about the game.
I don't know if you saw that or not, I see. Yeah, that was funny, dude.
Man, it's one of those moments, Chris, where my mind's going.
Oh yeah, I already know how it goes. Yeah, I know. I did it talking and you did it thinking.
I'm just thinking right now. Okay. Ask me a question while I'm thinking hella hard. Okay, wait. All right, so you guys say Thunder. What about their team total over instead of the spread? Or the I just don't know how confident I am right now backing them in back-to-back games where they just won. Well, actually, let's look at that. I didn't even look at that.
I was about to say, look at that real quick. I see after the previous
away margin greater than or equal to 10. Oh shoot! Okay.
Yep, that's when you take them. I see.
Oh, there's see, that's what I was looking at, the over and the team total over. The over or the team total over. Because this one they went under by just a half a point. This one obviously by 5.
114.5, I see.
And they're averaging 120 in that spot. Only going under in 2 of them. Let's look at the totals real quick. So there's a lot of different ways to attack this. Thunder team total over. Let's go back to the Bulls side. Let's look at how their totals have been. Bulls and favorite.
Just off the top of my head, I know the Thunder did cover their team total versus Philly, obviously. They also did versus Miami.
I think you mentioned this. I don't know if you did, Chris, but it sounded similar to what you mentioned earlier. No. This is different. All right,
it's different.
Team total over, full game over in current form. This was way in October, so they're a lot different as far as the team.
I got one for you, RC, when you're done.
Go ahead.
Let's look at the Thunder off in a and against a team they beat already, and they're in the same season, and they're a dog.
Oh, this is the one that you showed earlier. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they're going under in that spot twice.
Under twice.
But they're 3-0
under once.
Under once.
But
oh yeah, under once. Okay.
Damn. You really gonna take the Bulls, or is that more of just a strong lean?
No, it's a strong lean. If I had to play the game, like all the just based on the research, I feel like I can play the Bulls in this spot. Also, RC, I looked at
All right, so look at this one.
Okay,
Bulls,
I see that. Okay.
Bulls as favorite versus non-conference. So that's two things.
Because they give up so many points. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the Thunder, in some way, because the line is tight and they play each other so tight, maybe we stay away from the spread, focus on what the Thunder can do. Because obviously, so we have this one, right? Favorite non-conference game, and we go back to the Thunder and P margin greater than equal to 10. They're going over the team total. Games are going over. This one was tight. Other than that, I don't know. I'm kind of torn, but I feel like.
Well, Chris, you like the Thunder, right?
Yeah. Well, if I was going to play anything, I was looking at the Thunder plus 4.5, but I like what RC is doing, and we've kind of like done this together as far as like pivoting off of the actual team, on the point spread and just looking towards the total. I know RC's been really successful with that, and I've been kind of teetering back and forth whether I want to take spreads. I feel like spreads just been a little more difficult to cap recently. But if you think a team's going to get to their total points, then I think that could be the better play for sure. RC, I got one more for you. I think it was Bulls traveling from road to home. Were they a favorite?
Gotcha. See, again, team totals here.
Yep, and the 4 straight non-covers. Yep.
Non-covers, yeah. See,
what
look
about
at this one they won by 4, failed to cover by 1. That's what I'm scared of.
Mm-hmm.
How tight some of these are.
I see. What about one more for you? What about the Bulls when they're revenging same season losses this season? Because they have already lost to the Thunder in OKC. I think it was like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay. And then you said if they're the favorite.
Yeah, we can do if they're the favorite, or we can do it if they're at home too. Yeah, we can do home. Yeah. Oh, those want to go
under.
They only winning by 2 points. My plus 4.5.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's so fucking tight.
Back and forth.
Thunder. Man, this one's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like let's go back to the Thunder one more time. Sorry, one more time on the Thunder side, and then we can move on to the next one. But P margin greater than equal. Did they win by 20 to anyone? How much did they win by yesterday?
They did win by, was it 20 or 19? It was either 19 or 20.
Okay, it was close. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna go with this one, but these are the ways that I would look in this game. So I would go either Thunder team total over or the full game over. I agree with you on the spread, Chris. It's just I feel like it's gonna be really tight and out. In my opinion, I just feel like it's gonna be really tight.
No, I agree too, RC. That's why
Yeah.
it's a strong lean and not an official play. But I wouldn't look towards playing the Bulls and taking them to win by any kind of margin in this spot. I feel like that'd be the wrong side.
Yeah. Team total. I feel like they should go team total over. Joey, you got anything on this one?
Nothing for me in this one officially.
What is he doing? All right. Well, that's it. That's it for me on this one. That was a really good.
I had a phone call. That was why.
That's all good. I feel like we really did a good job of showing our process and thought process in that game, even though we didn't get to an official play on it. To me, very strong lean towards the team total over for the Thunder. Hopefully you guys didn't think we just wasted your time. I feel hopefully you guys took something out of it.
The one thing we did mention, RC, is that DeRozan is listed as doubtful. So, all that Bull stuff, taking into consideration, that's a lot of scoring that they're going to be missing without DeRozan as well.
Yeah, no, did we just add something to our? All right, so, Dan, this is the one that he's questionable or doubtful.
He's doubtful with that quad injury. He didn't play in the last game in DC either.
Gotcha. Oh, just one game this season? Under.
Yeah, only a few last season. That was the game where I was saying to take Levine's points because that's why I kept saying how Levine was a bowler. So DeRozan came through and broke him.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough of this game.
You were so locked in on the search real quick. Did you see the end of that Wizards game?
The end of the Wizards game. Is that the one when Levine went for like a 2?
Yeah.
When they were down 3? Holy, dude, I don't know.
He had 38, I think. I think he was just looking for the 40.
No, you know what I think he was? I think he was gonna so he was driving. So this is what I think happened. He was driving, he thought he got fouled, so he threw up a shot to get an N1 instead of passing it where he was supposed to. Because he pointed at the dude like I got fouled. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think what happened, but that's still a dumbass play.
I just saw his face after. I think he realized what he did was wrong after because his face was kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
All right, we're still on this game. All right, hold on. P, LF, and not C, and P, L, and F, and P. All right, so this is YBB here. 22-5 ATS, 23-4 straight up. Who are we looking at? Bulls.
For the Bulls.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Team total unders in all of my except one.
This guy YBB coming in here blowing things up. Okay. Oh boy, I don't know what that is. Oh, he's EuroLeague. Okay. All right, let's get to one more. What was the other one? Someone that Hawks Pacers. That was the other one. Okay, Hawks Pacers here. I talked about this one on Triple Double Show. What I came to was Nembhard props. There was a lot of things that I looked at from both sides that kind of pretty much Hallie being out kind of negated a lot of the trends because everything was pointing towards the Pacers and the over, primarily the over. But the 2 games that Hallie was out, both of those went under by like a huge margin. I think by like almost 20 points each under from the total. And then the other thing too was in those 2 games, Nembhard went off. Maybe I still have it up. I don't. Shoot. Well, I think that the 2 games that Nembhard started at point guard when Hallie was out, he had I think first game was 16 points. Second game he had 31. First game he had 8 assists, and it was like 13 assists the next game. And he even had a lot of rebounds in both of them. I think both of them were more than 6 rebounds each. So I was looking at Nembhard PRA on that game. Did you guys have any looks on this one?
I really liked the Hawks at first glance, but it is going to be the first game without the star player, Halliburton, obviously. And I believe, Ski believes, it seems like teams kind of rally that first game. Remember what happened with the Wolves, the first game that Cat went down? They killed the Grizzlies. So I'm gonna stay off. See how the Pacers operate without Halliburton.
I think he was the opposite for these guys. We'll check, but
Nah, they beat the Golden State Warriors outright in Golden State, RC. And that was the game you referenced that Nembhard went off.
See, that's the second game. That's not the first game.
Oh,
This is the fourth. This is the fifth. I remember this game. I think Greg might have been on the Blazers this game, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably why I remember it. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was. And we know Greg is our Portland guy. Yeah, so they didn't cover that first game, but they were on the so Blazers were on the second game of back-to-backs. That's interesting. They still didn't cover that one. But yeah, so you can see they went under by huge margins. You see this 240, this 232.5. I don't even think that's the actual number. I think it was higher than that.
Yeah, what stuck out to me in this game, I see, was the team total for the Indiana Pacers. I think it's pretty telling that they have so many guys listed as questionable, in conjunction with Tyrese Halliburton listed out, and the team total still 119.5. I think that's pretty telling how bad the Atlanta Hawks defense has been, specifically without Clint Capella being in. I think they're 4-10 straight up, 4-10 against the spread as well, giving up about 123 points in that spot. So the books are telling me that they still expect the Pacers to be able to score in this spot. So that was one of the things that I had looked at. But like you said, I don't know if I can trust the Pacers in this spot either.
Clint Capella, opponents averaging 120. What is their team? Sorry, what is their team total?
119.5.
119.5.
I gotta it was all of the trends RC had the Hawks giving up at least 120 points in this spot. Traveling from home to road, they give up a bunch of points in that spot. I think it was like 122. If you look at Capella specifically in away games, RC, just type in away in there as well. Like they don't even have to be a dog. They give up a lot more points on the road as well. 123 in that spot.
The one thing that I'm spotting here, Chris, is that 143 here. That might be, well, even if we're not looking at this one, 130, 129, 128, 128. So still pretty high for the most part. Hornets here went under. Kings were almost there. Clippers 108. I think that's was that the first game without PG?
Probably so. We know the Clippers. That game was in. Remember the Clippers were going under every single home game I see at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is a home game for the Clippers.
Yeah, it was a home game for them. So yeah, not anything that I played RC, but I just thought that was telling that they expected the Pacers to score 120 points without Halliburton. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty telling of a line to me.
I agree.
What do you have on this, Joey?
No, I was saying I was leaning Hawks, but without Halliburton, I don't want anything to do with it.
Man, this is a big time gap here. But if we look at road dogs against conference teams,
can you pull up Hawks with in-season revenge this season?
Yeah, we can do that.
Nothing strong.
Nothing strong at all. Yeah. Actually, look at the Hawks traveling from home to road. That's what jumped out to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I literally just jumped when I looked at it.
Yeah, that was the first thing that kind of jumped out to me.
ATS. Damn, look at that. Oh, okay.
Giving up 121, I see. Like I said, a lot of things pointed towards I was with you on the Pacers, but I don't think I'm gonna get there. Another really strong lead.
The only thing that's stopping me is Hallie being out. We talk about injured player theory. Some players they just can't get replaced, and like Jokic can't get replaced, right? Hallie, what he brings to this offense is different.
Did you say Jokic can get replaced?
Huh?
Did you say Jokic can get replaced?
No, cannot. Sorry,
okay.
Can't. Sorry, my bad. Can't get replaced. Oh yeah, you can't really hear the T, huh? All right, so That's just my Asian accent. That's my Asian accent coming out.
Love it, RC. Love it.
Damn, man. Only way that I could look is Pacers, and still to me, still to the over.
No, that career on the screen is too strong.
That's just crazy.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Pacers.
We
man,
also,
too. Damn,
I think, yeah, they have, and the Pacers are also 9-3 ATS as a home dog this season. I see. So I think that's something else to kind of take into consideration. Like you said, it'd be Pacers or nothing for me, even with Atlanta in the revenge spot. I just think without Capella, I don't really want to back Atlanta on the road. We know they turn up at home on Fridays, but not on the road, not in current form. Yeah. They will be getting Trae Young back, but I think it's also interesting to, noteworthy to mention, RC, that for the viewers that the Pacers got a couple guys on the injury report that we would also want in if you wanted to take the Pacers in this spot, other than Halliburton, of course. Miles Turner was a late scratch for the last game with I think he's listed as questionable with the back injury. And then same thing for Aaron Naismith as well, listed as questionable. I think he didn't play in the last game against the Knicks as well.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Man, there's like part of me wants to take the Pacers still, because it's only 2, right? We're just asking.
It's only 2, and it was 3. RC, it came down to 2.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, when I went to sleep last night, it was at 3. When I woke up this morning, it was 2.5. Then I saw 2.
It's even 1.5 somewhere, some places now as well.
2, gotcha. I kind of want to get there with the Pacers. Still want to get there with the Pacers.
I'm with you on Nembhard though. RC, Andrew Nembhard is the guy. We stay off the side. Just take him to have a big game against an Atlanta defense that we just looked at all the numbers. They don't do well in this spot. So I think he has a big game. Him and guys like Ben Mathurin to kind of fill it up and provide that scoring and facilitating threat that Halliburton once did.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. Hopefully, I'm not butchering the name. Naeem Mohammed. Why do you think Hawks money line? Do you think it's gonna be like a 1-possession game, or do you think is it just Hallie not really? Is Hallie being gone like so much of a impact? You know what I mean? Like, kind of curious to know what his thoughts are. Definitely want to hear the other side of it.
I like what Vaughn said with people that have ease of live betting. If the Pacers start out slow in the first quarter, which was a common theme early, see what the live team total turns out to be.
Oh, look at this. I mean, just randomly, I had this up already. So Pacers total greater than or equal to 230. The first quarter is their worst quarter scoring-wise. Then they just go off. That's a good point, Vaughn. See, that's why I like the chat. I love it when the chat gets involved. All right, well, that's enough for that one. You guys got time for one more? Let's look at one more.
Yeah, let's do one more. RC, real quick. Yeah. One thing I want to know, going back to what Vaughn said, when the Pacers were a really bad first quarter team, when Halliburton went out, that's actually when the switch started to flip just a tad bit, and they started like reversing that trend a little bit. If you look at the 2 games without Tyrese Halliburton, they actually won the game by they're winning that margin of victory is 5 points in the first quarter specifically without Halliburton in for those 2 games. Those were on the road, of course. They were away dogs, and this one is a home dog spot. But they're different offense when they don't have Halliburton, because he's the one that typically starts slow. You look at Halliburton, you go into NBA.com and look at the advanced stats. Halliburton is one of the best highest scorers in the second half specifically. He does a lot of his damage in the fourth quarter and in the third quarter as well. So I think that's something to take into consideration if you're looking at the quarter.
Pacers 29. So they started off hot, and well, let's look at this one real quick. 24. Oh, they went off in that first. So they went off in the first part of that game. For the second game. And then you said they went off in the third. In this afterwards.
No, I said the Pacers specifically. They started to do something different as far as not losing every first quarter when Halliburton did go out. RC, which you can see,
gotcha.
you kind of see it in the trend.
Yeah. No, okay, I got you.
They start off slow when he is in the game.
Yeah, that is a good point too. It's like it's sort of like a part of that injured player theory or whatever, but just not the whole game. Okay. All right. Let's do one last one. It's been an hour already, but I kind of want to keep going here. Take Hawks first quarter, Pacers second half. Gotcha. Okay. Let's do one more. What game is out there? Revenge game for the Hawks.
We pulled up the
we did
revenge
look at
game.
it,
I think
yeah.
it was 3-7.
3-4, I think it was.
Like
ATS.
7,
Yeah. It wasn't anything strong.
But we're just asking them to win the game. 4-2. Yeah, that one's tough.
Clippers got up to where I thought they would go, 4.5.
All right, well, let's do one more game. Did anyone say anything in the chat? What game? Wolves Suns.
Wolves Suns.
Wolves Suns. So we got -5. Damn. Wait, did I have -5 on the board?
It opened at 3, I believe.
Saw 2.5 last night, Joe.
Did I just put Hawks Pistons? Why did I put Hawks Pistons? All right, well, I'm supposed to say Pacers.
Is Aiden back today?
Suns Wolves. Aiden is likely to play, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think I saw him listed as questionable.
Oh, so on the report, it was listed as questionable, but on the report, someone right before the triple double show I was looking at, they said that he, I believe he participated in shoot around. So maybe he's more likely to play. So 2 ways that I was looking at this one. This is one of the games that we broke down on triple double show is the under or the Suns team total under. I think that's the only way that I could go on this one, especially not knowing the status of D'Angelo Russell. And we saw, I just saw a quote right before the show that he obviously is aware of the trade talks and he's kind of mad about it. He's like, all right, well, take advantage of me or let me go somewhere else where they will. You know what I mean? Basically is what he's saying. So shout out to Vine. He said Aiden is trending to play. I think that's what I kind of saw too. Did you guys have any looks on this one?
LJ dropped a good stat in there. Minnesota 5-0 against the spread in the first half at home versus the West.
They've been trending really strongly early in games as well. If you take away the Detroit game, the most recent game, I think they were 4-0 straight up and against the spread in the first quarter and the first half in their most recent games before kind of a letdown spot against Detroit, which I actually didn't think was going to be a letdown spot because Detroit was the last team to beat them on the day before New Year's. So that was a pretty funky spot. But I didn't have anything on this game, I see, specifically because Anthony Edwards got injured in the last game.
Yeah,
he was supposed to not be coming back, and then he came back, and that hip is kind of bothering him. You can kind of tell. I watched the Detroit game, so this game I was going to kind of stay off of. He's a big part of their offense. Definitely don't want to back the Phoenix Suns because they're so sporadic right now. And if they came out with some kind of heroic effort from a lot of those bench guys and were able to, kind of play some defense in this spot, I'd be looking towards an under like you. But I could, potentially see them, even still covering the spread. I don't want to back either team in this spot.
Luis in the chat likes the under. He said Suns are hurting offensively. They're off of a blowout. Wolves are off of a tough loss, so he's expecting some emphasis on defense today.
That's the way I would be looking too. Sure.
The under,
I agree.
Where is my notes? Wolves Suns. So I don't want to. Oh, okay. Here's the other one. when the Suns play at least their third road game in a row. 1-7 straight out, 3-5 ATS, 6-2 to the under. And you can see that their team totals 7-1 to the under in this spot here. And some of these games it had Booker in there, so it's not like it's just most recent form. And then the other one was, I look at the average, 99.2. So that's why I was looking at the team total under or the full game under, regardless of what the Wolves do in this point, or even if they cover or not cover the spread. I just feel like there's not. It'll be based on just the Suns, like current form and their travel spot here. Let's go third and 4 nights. So we do rest plus PU rest. Oh, I have it right there. So third game in 4 nights, but not on the second back to back. 1-3 straight up, 1-3 ATS, 3-1 to the under. Again, 3-1 to the team total under here as well. And this one was like, it wasn't like too far off either, right? And then the Kings were a much better team than a lot of people thought. So maybe this probably was a little bit off at the time as far as total.
Like it, RC. Also, RC, is this a fourth game in 6 nights for the Suns as well? I know that they were playing back to back the other day. Remember, because it took everybody money against the Warriors, and then everybody who faded them the next night got their money back against the Denver Nuggets. Is this a fourth game in 6 nights for them? I don't think I looked at that.
You know what made me so mad about that situation, Chris? Why we didn't put it together. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but after that happened, and I saw the Damian Lee ring ceremony and all that, I was like, man, I guess we should have expected a fired up effort from Phoenix.
Yeah, we took Warriors that game, huh? Damn, I remember that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't take Warriors that game, but I did think that, the Suns, I thought that was, a little playing a little above their head for sure. And I liked them in the second, and the Nuggets kind of just waiting for them the night before. And what got me there was looking at the Suns. Well, RC had just pulled up their second night of a back-to-back or third game in 4 nights.
Yeah.
Especially already being shorthanded without like 4 of their 5 starters, right? Like you got to fade them in some spot. Just because they took your money, you got to go back and get it the next night.
Yeah. Timberwolves off a loss. They lost by 17 P. So off of a loss of 15 or more, 2 straight games where they limited their opponents to under their team total. Damn, look at this one. Oh, nobody playing defense. Everybody was tired. Both teams were on back-to-back games. So for this one here, off of a 10-point loss or more, 4 out of the last 5 team total unders for their opponent. This one went over by 1.5 points. And the total was super low. Well, today's total is low too. I can only look towards the Suns team total under. That's Nuggets the next night were a major spot against Phoenix. Oh, okay. That's a good point too, Luis. All right, well, Suns team total under would be that one. Did you guys have anything else on this one?
No, I think I'll be, if I had to play anything else, I'd be right there with you, looking at the Suns team total under. Also, I think full game under as well, especially if D'Lo is ruled out. The Timberwolves are just banged up right now in general, which typically leads to less scoring. I think McDaniel's also a little banged up as well. McCauliflin hasn't been playing in games recently, so I would look towards the under as well.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right. Any last comments, guys, for this one, Joey?
No, I'm not interested in it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that will be it for today, guys. Let's go to recaps real quick. All right, recap. Let's go with Joey first. What is your official play for today?
Man, you see it. The DeJounte jersey on again. You know what happened the last time. No, I gotta go with Spurs plus 8.5. 7-1 against the spread in their last 8. Warriors 4-15 against the spread on the road this season. Bad form. I take the Spurs plus 8.5. Be looking for that live line too after the first quarter.
Yeah, and you just in case, you guys don't have to keep it to the games we talked about. If you guys have anything else that we didn't talk about, up to you. But yes, I know you're gonna be on them Spurs plus 8.5.
I like Levine points too. Any prop bettors? 29.5. Couldn't talk anybody off.
And that's sorry, 29.5. Is DeMar confirmed out, or is he just doubtful?
Doubtful.
Okay. Sorry, do you think it moves more after he's confirmed, or is that already baked in? Seems like it's already baked in.
I think it's baked in. It's 29.5, 30.5 out there. I don't think it moves too much.
Exactly. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got that. Chris, what about you?
Detroit and New Orleans over the 232 RC. I think right now at 234, it's still pretty comfortable playing that as well. I see points in that game. We talk about Detroit defense just being terrible on the road specifically, especially after a home win, right? You're not going to be able to tell them nothing. They just got to win underneath their belt. So I look for the Pelicans to be able to bounce back. Also, we didn't mention this, RC, but the Pelicans are coming off a 10-point loss to the Boston Celtics. So extremely we always try to cap motivation, right? I think Coach Willie Green, kind of prides himself on winning games and being able to bounce back off a loss. So I look for the Pelicans to be able to come out there and score the ball as well. I didn't talk about the prop RC, but I'm on CJ McCollum over his 33.5 points plus assists. I posted that earlier in the chat and gave it out on Twitter as well. He's over in 4 of his last 5 games. RC averaging 40.5 points plus assists in his last 5 without Zion. Has cleared 33.5 points and assists with just points in back-to-back games against the Celtics and the Wizards. Much better defenses than this Detroit Pistons team. 33% usage rate RC over his last 7 games is the last 5 games is the 7th best. So I'm going to CJ McCollum over 33.5 points plus assists, and the over in that game overall 232. And then the other player prop that I talked about was Mr. Trey Jones over the 21.5 points plus assists. Dude's been balling since Vassell's went out, and we see a lot of expected points in this game. 243 of them. I think he combines for at least 21.5 of them, whether he's doing the shooting or he's doing the passing.
That's a good. I like that. I mean, I think when so Zion and Ingram are both out still, right? I think when when Zion first got out the first time around when he was injured, we were on McCollum assists a lot, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and those were hitting at a pretty good rate. Do you guys have Andrew Nemhard's Perrier?
I do.
I really want to get there with it, and
it's gonna be an official play for me. RC, I'm just waiting for it to drop. I talked about
too. That's what I'm saying. All right, so I'm looking at the numbers here. When Hallie was out on the 4th and the 5th, December 4th against Portland, he had 16, 6, and 8 assists. And then against the Warriors, 31, 8, and 13. So that's the way that I'm gonna go on that game. I do like the look that we had. As much as I want to take the Pacers, I just don't know if I'm gonna get there with it. So the other leans that we were looking at, I would say, I think I was with you on the Pelicans Pistons 234 on the lean there. Obviously, I would have wanted to take the open number with you, but missed out on that. Spurs Warriors. I think the way that I'm gonna go is taking the Spurs live after the first quarter if the Warriors cover that number. And then the Thunder team total over, I'm still looking at that one as well. And then the Suns team total under is another one. I think one game we didn't talk about, I think the only reason why I didn't want to talk about it was because I think everybody, from what I've seen, a lot of people are already on it. I didn't really want to talk about it too much, but I like the Clippers to cover and win. And I also like the under in that game. Real quick, I did talk about this on the triple double. The reasons why I like the under. Clippers at home, 18-3 to the under at home so far this season. If we look at them playing on the second home game in a row, at least their second home game in a row, 9-3 to the under. If it is a conference opponent, 6-1 to the under. The other thing, 8-2 to the under versus conference opponents with a winning record. So they play up again. They play some strong defense against teams that are, I would say, obviously if they're above 500, they're a higher level team, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're at home either. That includes some of the road games. If we look at the Nuggets, they're 7-3 to the over, going from a home game to a road game. But if you look at them specifically, they're actually 8-2 to their team total under. They struggle offensively, and we know already that the Clippers play strong defense at home. So to me, just a lot of the things combined, looking towards the under. Clippers, they just the Nuggets beat the Clippers earlier this season by 30 points, right? I looked at how the Nuggets come back after beating that team in the previous in-season matchup by at least 20 points. Only one game so far this season. It flew under the total by double digits. So I feel like this is I wouldn't say like a letdown spot, but obviously they're going to feel a little bit comfortable. Also with the fact that Jokic may not play. I don't know if is it official? He's out?
He's out.
What did the line move to then?
4.5. That's why I asked earlier. I was like, you guys think it moved to 4.5?
Yep.
Yeah.
1 second.
I was going to ask you how you feel about the under with no Jokic. You like it more or you like it less?
They would become less efficient.
Dropped, yeah, their team total dropped.
They're going to be way less efficient offensively. So I would say it's even more so an under. Did it go down? It did go down. Okay, so it went down.
108.5, I see. Their team total.
108.5. I don't know. I'm going to take I don't know. Well, it makes sense, right? If we like the Clippers and the under, it would say team total under on that side, but kind of scared about this spread now. With I don't know. Well, everything's pointing me to the Clippers and the under in that game for the most part. So
we know the whole Ciroc on ice thing, but we
know
also
the Ciroc on ice. I kind of wish that
one of
Jokic
those.
was there, yeah.
This not that though. I see. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this not that. Nah,
that's what I'm saying. Because earlier, remember what I said earlier? Jokic isn't a guy that you can replace.
You can't just.
Yeah.
They don't. We were just talking to the group chat saying that they probably need to get a backup center to be a super threat in the postseason if they're not already. So they don't have a plug and play for Jokic, I don't think.
Yeah, no, but I meant specifically. I know you're trying to end the show, I see, but I just want to make this point. Specifically, the Ciroc on ice is disregarded for this game because they just got massacred in Denver last week. And Coach Ty Lue, right, they were down by 40 at halftime. Coach Ty Lue reiterated it over and over again. We'll see him next week. Let's see what happens when we see him next week. So I think it's kind of anticipated, right? You don't, and that was on national television too. They got I think PG and Kawhi played like 20 minutes combined in that game because it was over with at the end of the first quarter. They were losing by 15, losing by 40 at halftime. So I think they remember that, really short memory. I think it was like 8 days ago, happened on the 5th. So I don't think this is a rock on ice game, I see.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, as much as I'm scared of it, I already put it in, so I'm not going to do anything. It's not like I can mess around with it. I just hope they cover that original line. That's all that's all that matters to me. Also, the under too. I do like the under. I did take it at 224.5 earlier. And it's down to 221.5. I just feel like their offense is not going to be as efficient. That's the way that I could think of it. Even if the Clippers don't score a lot either themselves, they should still cover the spread and go under. Both teams go under. All right, well, that's it, guys. I think we as much as we didn't get that many officials out, I feel like we went through a lot. But that just goes to show, man, this is a lot of preparation involved in capping games. I bet you anything after this show, even after all we went through, I'm gonna go through those same games and even take more time on them, which is ridiculous because we spent so much time on it already. But with that said, guys, I definitely appreciate you guys for showing up. It was a long show today, but hopefully it was helpful for you guys. Shout out to Chris and Joey, the chat, everybody dropping some information, trends, queries, all that stuff. With that said, the end of the show. See you guys on Monday. I can't forget to end with this. Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time. Peace. Oh, the chalkboard. Yeah, chalkboard. All right.